When it comes to menacing characters within Bleach, no one's more iconic than the likes of Yamamoto. Everything up to his first appearance within the Soul Society arc, all the way up to his final fight with Yuha, Yamamoto has always been a renowned character and an extremely strong one. But how strong is he? Where does he stack up to the other characters in the series, and how does his infamous Bankai work? That's what we're going to answer today.
Yamamoto happens to have the oldest fire-type Zanpakuto in history, but what's most interesting about it is its Bankai form. Zankai no Tachi separates itself into 4 different abilities, those corresponding to North, South, East, and West.
Each gives Yamamoto the ability to focus all the energy and flames into the tip of his sword, releasing explosive damage at the ground and anything it touches. This is especially useful against Yuha, as it released a lot of explosive strength at Yuha and made him fade back. The cool thing about this ability is it doesn't really release flames or burns, it more just concentrates all that heat into the tip and then releases force through energy. The next ability on this list will be Yamamoto's West ability, which basically makes him untouchable. Going at around 15 million degrees, he's engulfed in fire, making him so hot that he's untouchable. This is especially useful because he uses it against Yuha in the past and the future, as shown through flashbacks in 1000 Year Blood War anime. Jugrim also implies a kind of illusionary status with the ability, as he says that flames shouldn't be that hot, and as it would be far past the likes of flames, so it might be more than just a defensive technique. The next ability is definitely the most notable, being the South ability, which literally gives him the ability to revive past people he had slain with his blade. The reason why this is so important is because he uses this against Yuha to revive past Quincy's, to kind of play a mental game on Yuha too, making it harder for Yuha to fight them, especially since he can revive millions of them at once. It becomes really hard to fight these skeletons and works as this kind of army formation and illusionary tactic against the people he fights, hurting them really badly as they don't want to slay people they may have love for.
Finally, we have North, Yamamoto's ultimate attack. It's a condensed slash of flame and heat, which he uses to kill the fake Yuha. Unfortunately, it comes at the cost of all of his energy.
Now that we've spoken about how strong Yamamoto's Bankai is, let's talk about how strong he is compared to the rest of the series. One of the most impressive things going for Yamamoto is the fact that his Bankai was thought by Yuha to be too strong for the other Quincy's to absorb. This is particularly impressive because that could even apply to the likes of Gremmy, who we know was also a Stern Red at the time and the strongest Stern Red at the time. This same Gremmy being capable of dropping 9 moon level meteors on the Serate, which was chopped by Kenpachi of course. On top of that, we have multiple statements that say that his Bankai could cause the destruction of the Soul Society. Now it's a little difficult to say what he means by that. He could be referring to the Serate, it could be referring to the planet, could be referring to the dimension. The little problem with this though, and the big issue with this, is it lacks time frame, so it's super hard to tell what it was meant. If it was the planet, for example, if it took 10 minutes, then that would end up meaning that the feat would be something go from planetary all the way down to like moon level, which makes this feat really hard to scale. That's why I'd much rather go something like the Gremmy shit, because that's much easily applicable, as there's more of a specific way to scale it, while this is really vague in time frame and vague in reference. Another character Yamamoto should scale to would be the likes of Shunsui. Shunsui power doesn't really vary throughout the war, and he was obviously the strongest character in the war at the start. Now the reason why this is important is because Shunsui scales somewhat relatively in speed to the likes of Lily Baro, who has a feat pretty casually. It's around 6 to 30% spear light when shooting lasers down from the top of the Soul Palace all the way to the Serate in like 1 to 5 minutes roughly. It's like a chapter's distance. This definitely leads credence to the idea that Yamamoto is anywhere from sub-rel to relativistic, even possibly relativistic plus, which is a really high scale for the likes of the character. Now it brings us to the final question. How strong is Yamamoto compared to the other characters in the series? He's definitely no top tier. He's not comparable to the likes of Yuha or Ichigo, and on top of that, he's not really comparable to the likes of Ichibe or Aizen either, but he's definitely on the upper echelon when it comes to Gotei 13, probably comparable to the likes of Kenpachi and Toshiro. I don't know if he's on Toshiro's level or Kenpachi, the final ones they fight Gerard, but he's definitely approaching levels like that, as he's comparable to the likes of Gremmy, who was previously the strongest Stern Ritter. So yeah, that's how strong I think he is. How did you enjoy this video? Leave a like and subscribe, and tell me what you think of it in the comments. See you guys.